Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host. I'm IWN, your YouTube content, your favorite YouTube content creator. And we are live for your WWE Smackdown and Rampage September the 30th, 2022 review. If you guys are just now joining the chat, if you're new to the channel and you want to see more reviews like this, please hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Also, you can add me on Snapchat. All the links to my accounts are in the description below. Smackdown was a really good, decent show this week. Rampage wasn't all that bad either. It had some ups and downs, but overall it was solid. I got your WWE AEW Friday night news. That includes news on Bandino, Rush, Randy Orton, Saraya, Johnny Gargano, and much more. We're gonna go over all those news coming out of SmackDown after the SmackDown and Rampage review. So again, we're going to go over all of your WWE and AEW Friday night news coming out of SmackDown Rampage after both reviews. So again, if you're new, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Let's get some likes on the stream, minimum. Let's get at least maybe 4 or 5 likes on the stream. And let's get some more audience in here. Make sure you share this SmackDown and Rampage review to all social media platforms so we can get more people invested in what I do here on the IWN YouTube channel and get more people interested. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start the review here. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. So, as you all know, SmackDown was headlined by Damage Control. So they continue to dominate the women's division in the company. Group leader Bayley battled newly minted babyface Shotzi Blackheart in one of 3 announced matches. Now, was the top contender to the Raw Women's Champion. She able to build momentum as she prepares to challenge Bianca Belair in a historic ladder match next week. What did she score? One of the biggest wins of her young career. Well, you guys are going to find out here live on YouTube, here on the IWN YouTube channel for your WWE Smackdown and Rampage review. So, the product of a backstage confrontation a week ago that left the babyfaces lying. The match pitting Ricochet and Madcap Moss against the Bloodline, Sami, Zayn, and Solo Sikoa kicked off the night's show. So the celebratory Zayn, officially the honorary Oos, found himself overwhelmed and beaten down in the corner of the opposition early. In case you guys wondered if I didn't watch SmackDown or not, yes, I did. I was live late with the SmackDown and Rampage review, and I'm going to explain to you guys why. It's because, number 1, bad weather, and number 2, my dog was sick. My dog is still sick. I don't know how long she's going to be able to live, but I hope to God that she still lives, because I'm going to be legitimately very upset if my dog passed away. It's already enough that my father passed away back in March, and it's already that I lost my uncle. I can't lose my dog too. You know? That'll be even worse. I lose my dog. I want to cry so bad, I really do. I feel bad for her, man. I really do. We told her to not eat that stuff outside, and she ended up doing it anyway, and she ended up throwing it up, spitting it out. Now she's really, really sick, laying down on the pee pads and stuff. And now she's pretty much laying back on the cover now. I can't believe she's still alive as long as she dealt with that. I just hope my dog gets the help she needs, because that was bad. I was home by myself. And I was trying to pick out an intro for my second channel, and all of a sudden I hear the sound. I hear some very, very noises in the kitchen, like the dog was beating on herself or something, or the dog was swinging something around. So I went in there. Next thing I know, she's laying on the ground. And I'm like, oh my God. Cinnamon, what's wrong? What's wrong? That's her name, Cinnamon. So I'm like, Cinnamon, what's wrong? What's wrong? So then, all of a sudden, she's throwing up brown stuff. And then she uses the bathroom. She does both number 1 and number 2 at the same time. It's sickening. It really is. As sickening as it sounds. And then she threw up. And then my dog, she threw up yellow stuff out. That's when that's what really stuck me right there. When she did that, I immediately realized something's not right. I had to call my mom. She was at work. And she came home fast to see what was going on with the dog. We don't even know what to do, man. We don't even know. She don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Please, guys, make sure you send your thoughts and prayers to my dog, man. I really hope she stays alive. I really don't want her to pass away, man. I really don't want the vet to have to put her to sleep. Like they did with my first dog that I had. My first dog's name was Champ. You know, like I said, it's enough I lost my father back in March. It's enough my uncle passed away, you know. And my grandma passed away last year. And my other uncle, my dad's side of the family, passed away last year, you know. I don't want to see my dog go. I really don't. That's really going to take a toll on me if my dog dies. Because legitimately, the only real parent I have is my mom. To be real with y'all. So it's a sad situation. I'm still worried about her. And my head is hurting because of her. I hadn't even ate all day besides breakfast because of myself being worried about my dog. It's sad. It really is. It's sad when you have a pet that's sick and can't figure out what's wrong with him, you know? It's sad when you got a pet that's sick and you don't know what's going on with him. You don't know what they ate that might have caused them to throw up and stuff, you know? Such a sad situation, man. Yeah, I about cried. I did. Well, anyways, please, y'all, send your thoughts and prayers to my dog. Hope that she stays alive. And hope that she gets taken to the vet tomorrow. My mom's going to take her. Hopefully, my mom comes back with good results and not bad results. Because bad results always gets people emotional, you know, and upset. Bad results, it's not good. Especially on a person's resume as a professional wrestler. And speaking of professional wrestling, speaking of that, the Bloodline halted the early momentum and seized control entering the break. I was so upset. I had to go outside and smoke a cigar. That's how upset I was. That's how stressed I was, man. But anyways, continuing on with the SmackDown review here. A battered Ricochet made the hot tag to Moss, who exploded into the match. He sparked a much-needed comeback and appeared to have the babyfaces in position to win. But the Juggernaut Sikoa, Solo Sikoa, you know, the guy from NXT that got called up. Somebody that should have got called up instead of Solo Sikoa is Carmelo Hayes. Anyways, fresh off of the depositioning Ricochet in the timekeeper's area, pretty much rocked him with a spinning heel kick and a Uranagi for the win. I thought this was a really, really good match. Really, really good tag team match. I enjoyed it really well. And if I was to grade this, I'd get this an minus or B minus. Or maybe an A minus. And honestly, Zayn was fired up as he entered the arena, still overjoyed following last week's show. And then Ricochet mounted a momentary comeback, only to be cut off by Sikoa, who showed no signs of being able to keep up with the veteran competitor. Well, sometimes you have that in matches. I mean, that's how it is. Moss explosion on hot tags is special. He is such a ball of energy and completely shifts the tone of the match. Then the lights deemed momentarily another tease for the impending arrival of the white rabbit known as Bray Wyatt. Guys, I got some news on that teaser. We're going to go over it after both reviews. So, we got Drew McIntyre versus Austin Theory. This was also a good match. Kinda, sorta. Drew McIntyre, fresh off a nasty bout of food poisoning. I don't even want to say the word poisoning because that stuff my dog ate outside, I think, was poisonous. That kept him off of a weekend house shows. So, battled Austin Theory in a match that was the result of a backstage confirmation. I call it confirmation. I'm not going to say confrontation. Mr. Money in the Bank did not come alone, though, as he was accompanied by Chad Gable. Shush! Shush, you geeks in the community, man. I'm trying to do my review, man. Shush. Chad Gable, the oldest of Alpha Academy. The match was short-lived as a fired-up McIntyre dominated the action until Alpha Academy got involved. Drawing a disqualification, Johnny Gargano rushed the ring, but the numbers game proved too much. So, which really brought Kevin Owens out to a thunderous pop because it was his hometown. And Sami Zayn's hometown as well. And even Natalya's hometown. Not surprised that Aaliyah's there. She's still out with injury. The terrible Aaliyah, you know, the one that's terrible in the ring? Yeah, that Aaliyah. She'll probably come back with that Bad Bougie heel character gimmick. Probably going to turn heel. Wouldn't be surprised if they line her with Natalya. The babyface heels to the delight of the fans. This felt like the setup to a match later in the night, and if that is the case, it was fine. Triple H has not relied as much on that trope as his father-in-law, making it less grating on the nerves of consistent viewers. And I got to get this caption off the screen. There we go. It is amazing to see how much of a step back Theory has taken in terms of exposure since Triple H took over just prior to SummerSlam. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Now, is it a case of the creative team not believing in him to the extent that its predecessors did, or is the new pretty much head of creative simply looking for the right spot to execute the young stars catching? I guess we'll find out. So, backstage, the tension between Jey Uso and Sami Zayn continued to mount, with the former issuing words of warning to the Uso, one of my favorite feud and rivalries on SmackDown. The feud rivalry of Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. The tension. I love this tension between these two, man. I cannot wait to see the bloodline turn on Sami Zayn because I wonder what that's going to be like. I wonder if Kevin Owens is going to come out and save Sami Zayn or not. Makes me wonder. So Karrion Kross Scarlett appeared in a pre-taped promo. Another ominous and forbidding bit of hype from the former NXT champion ahead of his later strap match against Drew McIntyre at Extreme Rules. Another QR code appeared at the end, said promo. A second tease for the White Rabbit campaign. So we got head roll versus Los Lotharios. I'm glad they got rid of that kiss cam. That shit was cringe. That shit was fucking cringe as hell. I'm just throwing it out there. The match pitting Hit Row against Los Lotharios may have been built to over weeks, but it was hardly a competitive match. I didn't really like this match. It was boring, in my honest opinion. I don't know why all these geeks in the community would be that interested in something like this. I mean, come on. It wasn't really all that good. And then, on top of that, Angel was too preoccupied with B-Fab at ringside, leaving Humberto to suffer the wrath of Top Dollar and Ashanti, the Adonis, who rolled to victory in impressive fashion. This was somewhat disappointing, absolutely terrible, because neither team really looked great. Los Lotharios continued to be bottom feeders in the tag team division, and Hit Row, after returning with momentum on their side, appears to have lost some of that steam as well. Now, hopefully, that changes shortly after Extreme Rules as Triple H fleshes out what he wants the tag team division to look like moving forward. But for now, this did not hit as hard as it probably should have, given the talent involved. Now, the tag team division, the tag teams they currently have on SmackDown, the tag team division, are Hit Row, MCMAHON, Los Lotharios, Imperium, and the Usos. Oh, and the New Day, and the Vigorators. What I would do is move the Vigorators over to Monday Night Raw when they come back from injury, and have the debuts of Inner Sheer, and we get Inner Sheer and Vigorators feud going forward in the Raw Tag Team division. And then you call up Roger Strong and the Creed Brothers to the main roster and send them over to Monday Night Raw. Creed Brothers, another tag team added to the Monday Night Raw Tag Team division. Then you'll have Street Profits, Alpha Academy, Creed Brothers, Inner Sheer, and Viking Raiders. That's a solid tag team division right there, if you ask me. I don't give a off what these geeks in the community got to say. That is a solid tag team division right there. Solid as it gets, man. Solid as it gets, legitimately. And the Brawley Brutes are on SmackDown too, in case I didn't mention that. And then you could bring back the Authors of Pain, because they were utilized. They were buried and wasted on TV when Vincent Bruce was in charge. They barely got TV time, in my honest opinion. I think Triple H should bring back the Authors of Pain and have them be put on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I'd say they should go to SmackDown. I say they should go to SmackDown. Man, can you imagine if Top Dollar was in the ring with two big guys like Razor and Akeem? Holy shit, man. That would be absolutely a moment right there. Can you imagine Inner Sheer being in the ring with Authors of Pain? I can imagine Authors of Pain being in the ring with Viking Raiders. That would be great, man. And Triple H, all Triple H has to do is bring Tucker back, and you can reunite Otis with Tucker. We can have Heavy Machinery back. I'd say keep Heavy Machinery on SmackDown. Actually, I'd say send Heavy Machinery over to Monday Night Raw. You have 6 tag teams on the Monday Night Raw tag team division, and pretty much 7 tag teams on SmackDown, the SmackDown tag team division. I'd say that's a solid. I'd say both divisions are solid at that point. On Monday Night Raw, you got Alpha Academy, Street Profits, Creed Brothers, Inner Sheer, Viking Raiders, Heavy Machinery, solid tag team division right there. On SmackDown, you would have Imperium, Brawling Brutes, Hit Row, Los Lotharios, New Day, Usos, and Authors of Pain. Solid tag team division right there, man. Pretty deadly. I'd say put them on Monday Night Raw. Simple. Send them to Monday Night Raw. So you'll have 7 tag team divisions on both brands. It makes sense. It makes sense to have several tag team divisions or tag teams on both brands. It makes sense to me. It really does. It just does in a lot of ways. But this match between Hit Row and Lotharios was not all that good. It was absolutely boring. It was kind of cringe. I didn't like it. And that's all I'm going to say to that. So we got Ronda Rousey. I'm pretty sure JD said that on his review, which I'm going to see if he did, because it always makes me laugh. But anyways, we got Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. Ronda Rousey returned to the squared circle Friday night, battling former friend and mentor Natalya in singles competition. I don't know who the heck would be watching this. I know I would. I'd say C for the match and B for a pull apart. Pull apart afterwards. This shit was not all that good. This match was not all that good either. Ronda Rousey returned to the square circle Friday night, a submission-heavy match with each woman looking for a tap-out, conclude with the baddest woman on the planet applying an ankle lock and getting just that out of the Queen of Hearts. Now, after the match, a baseball bat wielding Liv Morgan appeared and insisted that they not wait until Extreme Rules. Instead, she sought a fight with Ronda tonight. The number one contender wanted no part of the bat, but the two women did engage in a pull-apart brawl that added just enough heat to their upcoming Extreme Rules match for Morgan's Smackdown Women's Championship to keep things interesting after 3 months of backstory. So we are going to be getting a Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown go-home shows next week. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for both Monday Night Raw and Smackdown go-home shows. I'm interested in see what's going to go on both brands next week. Especially now that Triple H is still head of creative and talent relations. And now that Triple H is still in charge. Now, kudos to Morgan for tuning down some of her over-the-top antics and ramping up the intensity, leading herself even the slightest hint of credibility. Heading into what may be the biggest match of her still young, pretty much, career. Now, backstage, McIntyre, Gargano, and Owens reunited in the name of beating up Theory and Alpha Academy later in the night's 6-man tag team match. Owens then ran into friend Zayn, shot him a look, and told him he needs a new shirt in reference to the honorary Uso one he had been sporting. So we got Imperium beating Sheamus down. And then we got Shotzi Blackheart versus Bayley. Now, in my honest opinion, Shotzi versus Bayley was way better than Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. Bayley versus Shotzi, absolutely fantastic. Fantastic, incredible match between the two. So, ahead of next week's rematch from Clash at the Castle between the Intercontinental Champion Gunther and Sheamus, the ring general lead Imperium to the ring for a promo to Celtic Warrior predictably, notice I said predictably, interrupted, but was seen Butch and Rich Holland due to Hurricane land. The Varbo, back and forth, gave way to a beatdown by the heels, who pretty much, I'd say, left Sheamus in a heap. Never one to be outdone. Now listen to this, folks. Sheamus asked if that was all they had. Now, everybody that's watching this review, do you really think that was all that Imperium had? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I really don't. Legitimately. Legitimately don't, man. Now, it was not. Imperium left him lying once more to end the segment. So Sheamus getting over for being a double tough babyface is the simplistic booking that has long been a staple of Triple H's creative efforts, dating back to NXT, and proved positive of its effect, even amid a huge successful social media experiment with the White Rabbit. After the break, Shotzi looked to build on recent momentum following her babyface turn as she squared off with Bayley of Damage Control. A competitive match that saw Bayley work overtime to remind the WWE fans just how good her opponent actually is after a year of lackluster booking. It ended with the #1 contender to the Raw Women's Championship cut the ballsy badass off on the middle rope, then delivered the Rose Plant for the pinfall victory. This was a brilliant match. Great match. I loved it. I love it. I effing love it, man. After the match, the heels beat down Shotzi until Raw champ Bianca Belair made the save and cleared them out to keep Bayley from trying to injure Shotzi Blackheart's leg. She stood tall as the creative team continued to build towards Extreme Rules. That will be next Saturday. The ladder match between the EST and Bayley. Bayley deserves kudos for working so hard to lend Shotzi credibility here, and the green-haired babyface showed up and showed out in her latest opportunity to rebuild equality with fans. This was a solid match for as short as it was and made both women look astonishing. It made both women look incredible. It made both women look like real top stars in the SmackDown Women's division. I mean, Bayley is a star, and such Shotzi Blackheart is too. So we got the main event. But before that, I just want to give you guys these moments that I thought you want to hear. So you want to talk about real moments. So the battered, beaten Sheamus, daring Imperium to come back, was fantastic. Now, this was not a drill. Shotzi's tank is back, and all is right with the world. Now, WWE acknowledged the passing of the legendary Hall of Famer Antonio Inoki. The internationally recognized star was 79 years old. My thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family during these difficult times. And I'm pretty sure y'all's thoughts and prayers go out to him as well. Now, McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Johnny Gargano versus Theory and Alpha Academy. The main event of the night was the continuation of the battle, pending McIntyre, Gargano, and Kevin Owens against Theory and Alpha Academy. Just while I reveal this 6-man tag team match. Now, the heels beat down Gargano. They beat down Gargano, cutting him off from the rest of his team. So, Johnny Wrestling created separation and tagged Owens in, who fired up his team and brought them back into the match. Ultimately, the babyfaces withstood the onslaught of Gable and Otis. Late before McIntyre rocked Theory with the Claymore for the win, as was the case at the top of the show. WWE really excels in those multi-man tag matches. You ain't lying about that one. What was I gonna say, y'all? Oh, so they knew the layout, and the wrestlers pretty much execute the timing of everything and to perfection. And the result is a hot match that either jump starts a broadcast or sends fans home happy in the main event. That was what was most important here. Now, Owens is a massive babyface in the moment he gets a shot at the main event once more. He is going to be a major piece of the WWE puzzle. A fun way to kick off the show, even if it was largely meaningless in the grand scheme of things. Now, after the match, McIntyre whipped over the later strap match against Karrion Kross at Extreme Rules in 8 nights. Wow, man. Now, let's go over what I think stole the show and what I didn't think stole the show tonight on SmackDown. Now, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. SmackDown, it wasn't all that bad, you know. It had some ups and downs on it, but let me tell you my favorite things on this show. My favorite thing on the show was the tension between Jay and Sami Zayn. That was my favorite thing on this week's episode of SmackDown, believe it or not. And the brawl between Gunther and Sheamus. So, those right there were my 2 favorite things on this week's episode of SmackDown. Those are the 2 only best things, in my opinion, on SmackDown. On this week's episode of SmackDown. Now, the best match on this week's episode of SmackDown happens to be Shotzi Blackheart versus Bayley. That right there, in my honest opinion, that match right there, in my honest opinion, is the only best match on this week's episode of SmackDown. Other than that, SmackDown was solid. SmackDown was solid. Like I said, still had some bad parts on the show. I don't know why we had to watch the Maximum Male Models pose. What was that for? What was that all about? I didn't get that. Did any of y'all get that? I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah, I don't know why they added that to SmackDown. I mean, nobody's going to invest their time in watching the Maximum Male Models do their stupid, cringy pose thing. Maxine Dupree is way better than Image Squad. She's doing her part right. The Maximum Male models is Marseille and Squad are not doing their parts right. I'd be glad when the Maximum Male Models all break up as a faction completely, as a whole. Because this ain't getting it. This ain't getting it from Mansoor and Mace. These guys could have been up champions, but no, they decided to put them in the Maximum Male Models faction, and then they decided to have LA as the leader of the faction, which I don't know why. That did not do LA Knight. That did not do LA Knight no good. And I hope to God that after Extreme Rules, we get the return of the NXT LA Knight gimmick. I really do. Seriously. No shit. LA Knight needs a push on SmackDown because he is not doing himself well. The Maximum Male Models. I'm just saying. So, this show, as far as this full show goes, I will say that it wasn't really a particularly newsworthy or high stakes edition of the show, but you know what? There were enough SmackDown story developments to make it worth a watch. So, hey, at least we got that, right? So now we are going to move on to the AEW Rampage. So, Rampage pretty much started off with the Acclaimed versus Private Party versus Butcher and the Blade. So Rampage pretty much kicked off the three-way match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Max Caster and Anthony Bowens were defending their recently won titles against the Butcher and the Blade and the team of Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. Bowens and Cassidy had a nice exchange to get the action started. They even shook hands after it was over to show a little respect. What followed was exactly what you would expect. All three teams took turns controlling the pace, so the match felt competitive. But since this was the Acclaimed's first title defense, the outcome was never in question. Yes, I watched Rampage as well, even though I went over the huge AEW Rampage results on my WWE AEW Thursday afternoon news live stream, I believe. Well, actually, no, hold that thought. Actually, I went over that on my AEW Dynamite review just a few days ago. Because I do have that listed in the description below. Yes, folks, I do have it listed there. Yes, I'm right. I was right. Okay. I wanted to make sure. I was checking to make sure, man. I was right. I'm right. So, yes, indeed, guys, I did go over the huge AEW Rampage September 30th, 2022 results on my AEW Dynamite review this week. So, if you haven't checked out my Dynamite review, go check it out. But this was a really, really great triple threat match for the AEW Tag Team titles. So after the triple threat bout, Caster and Bowens scored the win to retain their titles. Tony Khan made the absolute right decision as usual, like he always does. AEW giving the Acclaimed an entrance while having the other two teams in the ring was smart, very, very smart. It gives fans some fun moments with their entrance while still saving some time. Bowens using a leg drop as a scissor move is kind of dumb. But when it comes to moments, it was also really funny and something he should probably keep doing. Now, Bowens could have a good run as a single star if the Acclaim ever breaks up. Just saying. He's got a lot of great qualities, and he's got a lot of potential, most importantly. So, great triple threat match for the AEW tag titles. That match really impressed me, man. It was, wow. The fans were going crazy. Fans were going crazy with this match, man. For real, I'm telling you. If I would have been live with the Rampage watch along, man, I would have let you guys listen to how crazy the fans were in attendance for Rampage. Even though it was taped, unfortunately, it was taped, which I thought was complete BS. I wish it would have been live instead of it being taped. I guess it was taped due to the hurricane land. That's my freaking guess. I don't know. But nonetheless, great tag team match. Great triple threat tag team match, man. There was some ups and downs in the match. It was fine, you know. And to be honest, I'm gonna talk to you guys. I'm gonna go over with you guys more about this triple threat match. So, you know, something itching my head for the longest. Oh, I know what it is. So, I couldn't help about how much the Acclaimed actually struggled here against two mid-card tag teams and first tag team title defense. Now, even though the triple threat tag team match was good, the whole thing kind of made me think, you know, well, shoot, how the heck are they supposed to be someone like FTR in a regular match if they can't dominate a scenario like this? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Bowen's worked a lot of match. He worked a lot of the match. I guess Bowens did most work in the match. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And he's gotten so much better since his first appearance in AEW. It's jarring. Caster has improved too. You know what? Truth is, Bowen sticks out to this viewer. As for the firm, I don't know that they want to become really a joke. And the gun stuff suggested that might be where they are going right now. Considering how they made fun of all the tag team belt, I guess we'll have to see where it goes. Whatever, man. So, we got Fuego Del Sol versus Lee Moriarty. So before that, we got a Jade Cargill interview. She called Lexi Lindy. And yeah, everybody pretty much laughed from there. I didn't laugh because I did not think it was funny at all. Now, out of nowhere, Nyla Rose and her crew, Cargill said she'd Rose his ass. Cargill said she'd give Rose what she wants, but it will have to be on her. So we got Lee Moriarty versus Fuego Del Sol. I think this was one of the best matches on the show. I really do. Rush versus John Silver was another one of the best matches on the show. So, the second match of the night featured Moriarty and Fuego squaring off in a singles bout. As I said, this was Moriarty's first chance to perform on his own since joining the firm. Now, Stokely Holloway and Marcy were at ringside to support him. But style did not need anyone to beat AEW's resident enhancement talent. Now, that is not meant to disparage him. He does a great job making everybody look good. Moriarty picked up the win in just a few minutes. There wasn't much to this match, but what we saw was good. It was great. Now, for a guy who always loses, Fuego usually has some cool gear. The way Moriarty lays his strikes in deep makes him one of the most convincing, if not hitters, in AEW. It makes him one of the most convincing, if not hard hitters in AEW, legitimately. Holloway just laughing on the top turnbuckle as Marcy chokeslammed Fuego was pretty funny. I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of, it wasn't that funny though. I mean, come on. So after that match, like I said, Marcy chokeslam Fuego from a million feet in the air. The firm celebrated. So we went right to the back where Hangman Adam Page was interviewed. Evil Uno was with him and said everyone would be in Hangman's corner. Andrade made an appearance with Josh, and Andrade challenged number 10. He said yes, but if he wins, Andrade has to leave AEW. Stokely Holloway showed up, and they talked trash on Andrade's group. So let the rumors about Andrade's imminent AEW departure commence. That's quite the twist to a match that would otherwise be fairly irrelevant. Yeah! Me a fuck rate, man. 10's mask versus Andrade's career seems a bit lopsided to me. Now, a guy with a laptop and very little else. I mean, I have a laptop right in front of my face. I mean, clearly you guys can see me. I mean, with the webcam, I mean, this is the most expensive webcam I think I've ever had, man. One of the very first ones. Seriously, legitimately. Now, a lot of eyes will be on it, though, considering that stip. Meanwhile, the Moriarty match was what it should have been. A good reboot for him, man. We all know he's got a lot of talent, a lot of potential, and we've all been waiting for that talent to be showcased more aggressively on AEW programming. Hopefully, a win this will be the beginning of that for Lee Moriarty going forward. We got Willow Nightingale versus Jamie Hayter. Hayter. Slater. Yeah. Despite still being a heel, Hayter got a great reaction from the fans when she came out to battle Willow. Nightingale! Britt Baker and Rebuild were there to support her, but that didn't stop Willow from taking her down and delivering several headbutts. This was a very, 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 very competitive match. I saw both women hit some nice moves, but watching Hayter pick Willow off the mat. No, I'm just joking. Not off the mat, but Willow off the middle turnbuckle for a German suplex was easily the best spot in the match. Hayter won the match and celebrated with her girls. Hayter needed this win, but she should be AEW Interim Women's Champion right now. I don't understand why she's not. I mean, I don't get it. The original plan should have been Thunder Rosa defending her AEW, as I said, last month, a few months ago. I think it was either last month or the month before last. But the original plan should have been Thunder Rosa defending her AEW World Women's Championship against Jamie Hayter for All Out. And that didn't even happen. Why? Because Thunder Rosa was out with injury. It's supposed to be Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa, but it should have been Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter for the AEW World Women's Championship for All Out. Hayter deserved that title match much more than Toni Storm did, in my honest opinion. I mean, I'm just being honest. She's great. She's got the looks. And she's got a good character gimmick, man. Jamie Hayter was built up. I felt like Jamie Hayter was built up to that point, legitimately. And I really do think she needs to be the next AEW Women's Champion. I think she's ready, man. She's got her character gimmick going. She's got some good in-ring skills. She's got power. She's got strength. She's the toughest. I don't know, but she may be the fastest, too. She's got that. She's on that EST level. Like Bianca Belair, man. Jeez Louise. I don't know how you cannot put an AEW Women's title on somebody like that? How can Tony Khan and AEW not legitimately put an AEW World Women's title on somebody like Jamie Hayter? Man. And then you want to talk about Britt Baker breaking up Jamie Hayter's pin on either Harushida or Toni Storm. You know, that was messed up. I think that was politically the idea of Britt Baker breaking up that pin, man. We all know that Britt Baker's still going by her political ways in AEW. All about herself and not about the women's division. Which sucks. Completely sucks. It really does. I hope to God they eventually have Jamie Hayter turn on Britt Baker. We can get the Jamie Hayter-Britt Baker feud. A babyface Jamie Hayter versus heel Britt Baker. Take my money, man. I would love to see Jamie Hayter get over Britt Baker. Sooner rather than later, Jamie Hayter is going to be turning babyface on Britt Baker. And she could get the biggest singles run in her babyface AEW career. Jamie Hayter is going to be one of the next top best babyfaces in the AEW Women's division, in my honest opinion, if she keeps on doing what she's doing. I think she is really going to get a title shot. She should have already got a title shot. She should have already been champion, like I said. That's just like what I said about that triple threat match for the unified NXT titles. Remember that match between Mandy Rose, or I think I said it right. Remember that match between Mandy Rose, Blair Davenport, whatever the heck her name is, and Miku Satomura. That match between Mandy Rose, Miku Satomura, and Blair Davenport. Should have been Blair Davenport beating Mandy Rose and Miku Satomura to unify both the NXT and NXT UK women's tag team, or not tag team, but women's titles. Blair Davenport legitimately should have been the right decision. NXT should have made the right decision by having Blair Davenport beating Miku Satomura and Mandy Rose to unify both the NXT and NXT UK women's titles, man. Because just like Jamie Hayter, Blair Davenport was built up to that point. She was built up well, just like Jamie Hayter was. I've watched NXT UK. I know how good Blair Davenport is. She should have been the one to dethrone Mandy Rose and Miku Satomura. It should have never been Mandy Rose winning that match. It should be Mandy Rose losing and getting called up to the main roster, along with Toxic Attractions, JC Jane, and Gigi Dollar. That's what that should have been. And then that match between Tyler Bate and Braun Breaker, it should have been Tyler Bate beating Braun Breaker to unify both the NXT and NXT UK championships. And then that would have gave Braun Breaker a chance to get called up to the main roster. Ignore the fact that I said Baker. Ignore that. But, man, missed opportunities in WWE. Talk about worst and better creative decisions, man. That was the worst creative decision you would ever fucking come up with, having Mandy Rose unify both NXT and NXT UK women's titles when it should have been Blair Davenport. Worst decision ever, having Toni Storm win and become the AEW Inter Women's Champion when it should have been Jamie Hayter, in my honest opinion. I mean, really. Both wrestling promotions making bold decisions. It's crazy. It really is. So, you could tell some fans couldn't decide who to cheer for. Now, Willow is a lot of fun, but many want Jamie to be booked as a bigger deal right now. I don't blame them. I mean, she is doing great. I mean, I don't blame these fans or these geeks in the community, man. She is awesome, dude. She is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Jamie Hayter and her work. She's doing great. It's always fun to watch two women who are stronger than most lock up. Now, the way Hayter just carried Willow around like it was nothing was so impressive, man. It really was. No shit. And this is one of the reasons why I said this week's episode of Rampage. After the match between Jamie Hayter and Nightingale, from there, we got a video package. Joe, the newest tag team formed in the AEW tag team division. Now back in the ring, Ryan was talking. He said Rocky isn't real. He slammed Philly more, but nobody really responded. Hook's music hit, and Hook came out. Hook clotheslined Nemeth. Hook ragdolled Nemeth and sunk in the Red Room submission until Nemeth passed out. The Trustbusters came out and left Hook a letter, which Hook picked it up on his way toward the back. From there, we got a swerve video. So, I really, really like Jamie Hayter, but also Willow Nightingale is great as well. But I like Jamie Hayter better, let's be honest. Now, Willow Nightingale, she was great as someone who was more outnumbered than anything. She showed good fire and plays the happy-go-lucky, but I'll show you character so well. Which is one of the reasons why I call her which is why I do the Nightingale impression. Now, Hayter had to get the win because she's widely over with all the live crowds, man. And that's great. That is something you need out of a talent. That's a babyface. Whether it's a babyface or something you need it, man. Especially if you're a babyface, though, mainly. It would do itself well to push her a bit. But that seems to be a point of contention among some wrestling fans. Some wrestling geeks, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and stay away from that. As for Hook, if he joins the Trustbusters, dude, I'm going. You know what I'm gonna say? If Hook joins the Trustbusters with Parker Boudreaux, channel changing. Hook doesn't need to be with the Trustbusters. Hook needs to stay as a singles competitor. We don't need Hook turning heel. He's doing so good as a babyface. It needs to stay that way. So we got the Mark Henry segment. John Silver said Andrade's group's man crush on 10 is creepy. Now, Silver said that the Meat Man is going to beat Rush's ass. Andrade said they are going to show everyone they are winners. Rush spoke and said there's too much talk. He said Rush is there to fight. Henry said it's time for the main event. We got a Trent video because he's going to face Pac at Battle of the Belts. So, Trent versus Pac seem to be official for Battle of the Belts 4. So again, Trent versus Pac seemingly is official for Battle of the Belts. So we got John Silver versus Rush. Rush. Notice I did that. I like when he does that, man. That scares the heck out of the kids in the crowd, I'm sure. They'd be like, ah! I don't know. Oh man, I don't know what I just did. The crowd chanted Johnny Hung. Why? Why did the crowd chanted Johnny Hung? Who is? Anyways, Rush had the upper hand early, but Silver came back with an uppercut that took Rush to the outside. Silver posted in the middle of the ring. Rush rolled back into the ring, punched the hell out of Silver before opposing himself. Rush, chopped, and then landed a splash in the corner. Now Rush hit a drop kick back over. The two fought on the outside, and Rush threw Silver into the guardrail. Oh my goodness. This was an instant classic right here, this match was. Rush rolled Silver back into the ring. Rush kicked Silver in the head and posed as we got our final PIP. By the way, guys, I just want to remind you again that I did go over the news on the huge AEW Rampage September 30th, 2022 spoiler results. You might as well say I'm already reviewing Rampage, so if you want to stick around, man, because the review's about to be over and I'm about to give you your WWE AEW Friday news, even though today is Saturday. And speaking of today, I do have a few announcements to make for Saturday. I give you guys the WWE AEW Friday night news. Continuing on with the reviewing of the match between Rush and Gunther. So we go back from break. The two traded splashes before Silver hit a German suplex. Silver caught Rush for a power bomb. Silver landed some kicks, and Rush slapped the snot out of Silver before landing a Northern Light suplex for a 2 count. Yes, I did watch Rampage, guys. I watched it on my laptop on the Bench Report website, like I did last week. Now, with the 2-on-3, I'm just joking. With the 2 on their foot, they're 2 on their feet. Foot and feet sounds the same to me, man. I mean, just like some of my friends, they'll even tell you that foot and feet sounds the same. Arms and chops. Rush decapitated Silver. Silver came back with a brain buster, and then interference began as Rush hit a running forearm and the Bull's horns for the win. After the match, Andrade attacked. He attacked Alex Reynolds and Silver. So once Andrade attacked Alex Reynolds and Silver, Uno and 10 ran for the save. The Butcher and the Blade ran out to hop in. And then Heyman's music hits. Ricochet! No, I'm joking. Page and Rush squared off. And Heyman teased the back shot lariat. Ricochet! You know I like the man run. Which eventually hit on Joe's, the assistant. The Dark Order pose to end the show. So that was the end of Rampage. Now, the match between Rush and John Silver was a match that has become the prototypical Rampage main event, if you will. Now, I will say that a pair of wrestlers that wouldn't be caught in a main event on Dynamite, but for sure. But for some freaking reason, are expected to carry, supposed to be seen on that level. I kind of that a little bit. Now, just out loud, I'm glad to see Rush in AEW full time, because during the last few months of his ROH run, I'm in the flesh look as disinterested as ever. Baltimore. He seems re-energized now, though, and some of that bad reputation he got during that time has certainly had kind of sort of washed away. Now, he looked great here. He did. He looked fantastic. Awesome. Dope as fuck, man. Silver was a great opportunity. He was a great opponent for him because whatever reason, Silver and the rest of Dark Order can take L's like it's nobody's business, but never really to work to get their popularity back. Maybe it's a hangman relationship, or maybe they're just that level. Still, the match worked and the right guy won. The right guy won, man. Legitimately. This was a solid main event. But, in all honesty, it's nothing that people will be talking about by next week. That's for sure. So, in all, I guess we're supposed to believe Rampage is going to be that show again or whatever. Now, TK used when he was trying to pump up the show a few weeks ago. This is templated. So, nonetheless, it was a great show. Now, the best matches on this show. The best matches on the show were Lee Moriarty versus Fuego Del Sol and Rush versus John Silver. The best thing in this match between Jamie Hayter and Willow Nightingale, in my opinion, is Jamie Hayter. She's my favorite. My main favorite. But overall, Dynamite was solid. I'm not going to say it's great. I'm not going to say it was the best. I'm not going to say it's the greatest, but it was solid. That's all I'm going to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for your Smackdown and AEW Rampage September 30th, 2022 review. Before we get out of here, it is now time to go over your WWE AEW Friday night news that I have for you guys this weekend. Let's look over the chat first. See who's here. Hey Jocko, hey Andrea. What's going on? Hassan, Terrell. How is everybody here in the live chats doing? I hope you guys are still here because I got your WWE AEW Thursday, or not Thursday, but I got your WWE AEW Friday night news to give you guys. Hassan, I ain't done yet, buddy. If you want to hear some WWE AEW Friday night news, I suggest you stick around. Man. We ain't done yet, man. Oh, we ain't done. We got some major news on Randy Orton's injury. Some major news on Bandito, Rush, Saraya, and so much more. So, if you guys want to hear your AEW Friday night news, stick around. Because we are about to start going over the news starting right now. All right, guys. So, we're going to start with the news of Lacey Evans, even though nobody's a fan. I mean, who even gives a crap about Lacey Evans? I'm pretty sure nobody doesn't. Seriously. I am not a fan of Lacey Evans at all. And I don't think every single one of you that's watching shouldn't be. For a lot of reasons. Her gimmick sucks. Her in-ring skills are terrible. Her entrance is god awfully boring. And her promos are jack shit. There you go, I said it. Now, there is some news on her. We're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. I'm not going to give my thoughts on it just because I'm not a fan of Lacey Evans. I mean, clearly, why would I want to give you guys my thoughts on the news on Lacey Evans? Really? Come on. Come on. You serious? All right, so Lacey Evans was reportedly blasted over a terrible booking. So she was blasted over. Oh man, it's hilarious. It's really hilarious, man. Let me see those laughing emojis in the chat, guys, because I know you gotta be laughing at this. This is fun. This one, Lacey Evans. This is a funny news article. Lacey Evans reportedly blasted for a terrible booking. A terrible booking. Oh man! Oh man! Jesus Christ! Lacey Evans returned to WWE television earlier this year after being away for a very long time. She came back and stopped her Southern Belle gimmick. It became overrated in the process. Evans was a regular on SmackDown before she was pulled from television because she sucks. Oh man! Seriously, she sucks. She is terrible. Cringe, unhinged. Seriously. But she was pulled from television on July the 29th episode of the Blue Brand. Michael Cole stated that Evans wasn't medically cleared to compete. Good. Good. Get out. Get out. We don't need you on television. Take your little character gimmick and shove it up yours. Because nobody wants to ever see you on television again. Evans returned to WWE television recently and even had a match with Liv Morgan on last week's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. I turned Lacey Evans into a freaking rattlesnake. Lacey dominated the match, but Morgan picked up the win in the end. She then put Evans through the announcer's table. She got exactly what she deserved. Oh, man. While speaking on Jim Cornette's drive-thru, Jim Cornette discussed Lacey Evans and wondered if her poor booking was due to her somehow upsetting someone backstage. Probably, man. I know Derek Dillon. So, this is what Jim Cornette said, and I quote, "Who did Lacey Evans piss off? That is my question." Probably Liv Morgan. "I don't know that I've seen a more talented female performer booked in such ridiculous, shitty ways ever from any company. Now, what are you supposed to think about her? They had her do those promos. Again, part of this, I'm sure, was Vince and some weird Vince idea that he had. I'd say some terrible Vince idea. That's what I'd say. If I was Jim, I would have said terrible. Because Vince and Bruce were terrible when they were in charge. Terrible at their jobs, terrible at booking, terrible at producing and writing shows. God, they were so awful, man. I am so glad Bruce is about to be fired. And I'm so glad that Vince is removed from his active duties as chairman. I'm glad he retired as well. He should have been retired a long time ago. But still. Now, it says here, this is the other thing Jim Cornette says. They had her do the promos as the abused child, the military hero, and a determined young woman, which all led up to her being a heel for some reason. She's great as a heel, but now they are using her as effing cannon holder for this Liv Morgan experiment of trying to make people believe that Liv Morgan is now or ever has been or should be a professional wrestler. So I guess we'll have to see how WWE will improve Lacey Evans' booking. By the way, what I just quote read is what Jim Cornette said. Now, will WWE improve Lacey Evans' booking? I'd say Paul Levesque released her from the company. I think that's what Paul Levesque's going to do. When she comes back, he's going to bury her, waste her on TV, and she's going to release her from the company because, let's be honest, in my honest opinion, Lacey Evans is a Vince McMahon talent. I don't think she's a Triple H talent. Let's be honest. Will WWE improve Lacey Evans' booking? If that will even be possible at this point in time, I'd say no. Keep her off TV. Release her from the company. Replace her with somebody that's going to be legitimately better than her. Honestly, what's y'all's take on Lacey Evans' WWE booking? Sound out live chat, please. Now, moving on to some next news on LUDWIG KAISER. I mean, well, it ain't really that serious, but sorta is. Just because it involves Gunther. Now, LUDWIG KAISER shuts down claims, reportedly shuts down claim that Vince McMahon planned on burying Gunther. Now, Gunther did indeed had an amazing run in NXT UK as he became the longest reigning champion in modern WWE by holding the NXT UK title for a record 870 days. Wow, that's a lot, man. He dropped the title to Ilja Dragunov at NXT TakeOver 36. Gunther finally made his way to the USA. I was going to say United States. As part of the NXT roster as well. Gunther and LUDWIG KAISER made their main roster debut on Friday Night Smackdown earlier this year. We know that. Gunther also won the Intercontinental Championship back in June. Reports suggest that Vince McMahon planned on buying. I wouldn't say buying. I'd say burying Gunther on the main roster. While speaking to WAZ, I don't know what source that is, LUDWIG KAISER denied the rumors and said Gunther has been having a great time on SmackDown. So this is what they said here, and I quote. WAZ, I'm sorry. WA what? WA what? Y'all hear this? You guys hear this, man? Ringside News spoke to WAZ. They spoke to WAZ, man. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what source that is, man. Where? Where is getting all these? Where are they getting all these news sources from? Man? I don't get it, man. I don't understand it. Really? So, basically, LUDWIG KAISER denied the rumors and said Gunther has been having a great time on SmackDown. So it says here, and I quote, I don't know anything about the rumors. It's also usually the case that we don't let it get to us like that. From our side, we have been totally satisfied since we started on SmackDown. We've had a great reception there. The feedback has been positive right from the start. Or should I say right from the word go. That's what I would have said. I mean, that's just me. That's something JD says on this podcast. I mean, but anyway, we can't complain about our TV time either. When you look at what we've done in a few months, even with Gunther's Intercontinental Championship title, it speaks for itself. Of course, there are always rumors here and there, but a lot of it is just not true, end quote. WWE recently announced that Gunther's Imperium faction will battle the Brawling Brutes in a Donnybrook match at Extreme Rules on October the 8th, 2022. So we'll have to see how the match will turn out to be. That is going to be absolutely a classic. Triple H always coming up with the best ideas that he could ever come up with, man. Triple H is a great person, man. He's a great guy. What's your take on this story with Gunther? Let me know in the live chats, folks. Now, next, we have some news on a huge concern over the severity of Randy Orton's back injury. Oh my goodness, this sounds bad. This sounds bad, folks. Listen up, especially if you're a Randy Orton stan or fan in the community. For you, it says here that Randy Orton has accomplished a lot of things during his 2-decade run with the WWE. He has won multiple titles and taken part in several iconic moments in the company's history as well. Orton has had an incredible Hall of Fame worthy career in WWE. Hassan, I've been here. What are you talking about? Are you drunk or something? The Viper is currently a 14-time world champion and has won other titles along the way as well. Orton has been out of action for a long time due to his back injury. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there is major concern over Randy Orton's injury. So it says here, and I quote, there is a lot of concern regarding Orton's back injury, and it's severe. Very, very severe. I'd say severity. Severity. Now, Randy Orton could also miss out on the remainder of the year due to his injury. So we'll have to see when the Viper will be able to make his return to the square circle. Don't even tell me what y'all think on this story. Completely sad that Randy Orton is not able to come back in. I mean, he is aging a little bit. I mean, that has somewhat something to do with it, but I think he has something to do with him taking all those spots and all those moves in the ring and stuff. Probably has something to do with him doing those RKOs from the top rope, from previous times. When he was the Legend Killer, when he was the 3 most destructive letters in WWE RKO. Yeah, that Randy Orton. Okay. Now, we have some news on the Day 1 pay-per-view. So, WWE is possibly considering a change for Day 1 pay-per-view. We're going to go over that. So, it says according to Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio, or should I say Wrestling Observer Newsletter, it was reported that a decision will be made this week on whether or not they will change the date of the event. Now, WWE has already announced that the Day 1 Premium Live event will take place on Sunday, January the 1st. I will be live for the Day 1 Premium Live event, guys, in January. I will be live for that, so I'm actually going to do a thumbnail in the background for the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view. I'm going to actually schedule that. I will be live for that, folks. So that will be all the way to next year. It's not going to be long, though, because days are going by so fast, man. It's not even fun. Well, why are you saying that I'm back when you know I'm here? English, bro. Now, it will take place on Sunday, January the 1st, from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, it seems WWE will be considering a change for the event as well. And like I said, I will be live for the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view in January the 1st. My birthday is on that month. Not on that day, but it's on that month. My birthday is January 25th. So my birthday is in... Now that it's September, I'd say my birthday is in 3 months. Pretty much. Now, like I said, according to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that a decision will be made this week on whether or not they will change the date of the event. There are also discussions that the date may change as well. Should the date be changed, then WWE will make an announcement next week. Sounded to me like a question when I read that. Brock Lesnar is also advertised for the premium live event for the time being. Jesus Christ. Great. Oh, great. We're going to get more Brock Lesnar. He is also advertised for the Royal Rumble in late January and WrestleMania. So we'll have to wait and see what WWE will have planned for Day 1 premium live event, as fans are excited about the show. I'm actually excited about the show too. I think it's going to be great. Triple H is still going to be in charge next month. I think Triple H will be officially chairman next year. If anything. Which I hope happens. He's already had a creative talent relations. Anything's possible, man. In the WWE, that's what they say, right? Never say never. So, guys, I want to go ahead and give you this news on Karl Fredericks. Does anybody in the live chat know who Karl Fredericks is? Please let me know and tell me all about him, because I do not know who that is. Now, there's a question on why. There's some answers as to why Karl Fredericks was at the WWE Performance Center. It's also a question, which is why I said that. WWE is always looking to hire more talent who will help with the company's overall growth. Now, they always hold tryouts in order to determine the best new talent for their roster. Now, Karl Fredericks was recently seen at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando as well, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Fredericks received a private tryout with company officials. Fredericks began wrestling in 2015, but started with New Japan Pro Wrestling as a young lion at the LA Dojo in 2018. Graduated in 2020, he won the Young Lion Cup in 2019. This news was not on the list in the description, but I just thought that everybody that's pretty much a Karl Fredericks fan want to know about this piece of news article on him. Fredericks began wrestling in 2015. Like I said, he started with New Japan Pro Wrestling as a young lion, LA Dojo in 2018, graduated in 2020, won the Young Lion Cup in 2019, made headlines back in the summer when his New Japan Pro Wrestling contract expired on August the 1st. Fredericks expressed his frustration at having his New Japan Pro Wrestling run in such a way. Regardless, I guess we'll have to wait and see whether he will end up working in WWE or not. What is y'all's take on WWE bringing in Fredericks Sign up in the live chats. Please. I really appreciate it. Now, there is some news on Valerie Loretta, a woman I think will be the next Sasha Banks in WWE. And I think she has what it takes to be the next Sasha Banks in WWE. You know, when Sasha Banks retires, some woman in that division needs to be the next Sasha Banks. It has to be Valerie. I think it should be Valerie, honestly. I mean, why you think there were photos seen of her and Snoop Dogg together? She may be having Snoop Dogg, or could be working with Snoop Dogg on her WWE theme entrance music. She might get a theme song similar to Sasha Banks' theme song, if you know what I mean. So Valerie Loretta fulfilled her dream of becoming a WWE superstar by signing with the company in June. The former MMA fighter reported to the Performance Center just a month later. She's finally got her wrestling name. Valerie Loretta took to Twitter on Friday and shared the exciting news with her fans. The 24-year-old WWE name is locked in. Loretta is still being secretive about her WWE name. She says here, and I quote, "Just got my name. Just got my wrestling name." That's what she said. That is legitimately all she said right there. Just got my wrestling name. Now, I was thinking she was going to say something like, "Oh, I'm so glad to be in WWE. I'm so glad I got my wrestling name, and I wish I could reveal to you all what my first wrestling name is going to be, but I can't." Something. But anyways, Valerie Loretta has previously asked for suggestions for her WWE name. She might change her Twitter handle to promote her wrestling persona. So we'll have to wait and see if that happens. Anybody has any clues about Valerie Loretta's wrestling name? Let me know. Now, there's some news on Johnny Gargano. Something I want to go over. Just because Johnny Gargano is one of the best in-ring professional wrestlers in this industry. Now, Johnny Gargano was considered the heart and soul of NXT by many fans due to his excellent feuds with the likes of Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, and more. Johnny Gargano is someone that one of my many inspirations. My only favorite podcaster, the greatest podcaster in the IWC, JD, is a big, huge fan of. Someone I am a fan of too, as well. He's really great at what he does. His gimmick's great. His in-ring skills is great. And overall, his entrance is great. Got the best entrance music in WWE. Johnny Gargano is good as it gets, man. His excellent matches and in-ring skills propelled him to the top of the NXT division. Gargano left WWE last year, and fans were very sad about the fact. They were sad about that fact, man. After his exit, fans wondered what the future held for him. Their questions were answered after Gargano came back to WWE last month. Now, speaking to WWE Espanol, Johnny Gargano spoke about dream matches and named Seth Rollins and AJ Styles as two huge opponents for him. He says here, and I quote, "Obviously, there is a guy that I've been in the ring with in the Indies. Like that, I haven't wrestled on a big stage. Guys like Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. Those two guys pretty much at the top of my head. End quote. So I guess we'll have to see what the company has in store for Gargano in the coming weeks, and if he'll face either of them in the future or not. Now, there's some news on WWE dropping yet another major Bray Wyatt White Rabbit tease during Smackdown. So, this is the last piece of WWE news. This is the last piece of WWE Friday Night News that I have coming out of Smackdown and Rampage. Bray Wyatt captivated fans and peers alike with his scripted promos and tremendous storytelling ability. The Eater of Worlds was on top of his game when WWE released him. It appears that his return is around the corner. WWE dropped a major Bray Wyatt return tease with another QR code during Smackdown. The latest QR code appeared on screen right after Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre's Extreme Rules hype promo. The new tease features Huskus, the Pig Boy, one of the 6 characters from Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse. I remember that. The URL of the video contains numbers 1911. Bray used to wear the hat with 1911 written on it during his time in WWE. Yes, I saw that. I remember that. WWE seemingly put out another tease with a revel in what you are signed during Smackdown this week. The person holding the sign showed it to WWE cameras and just walked into the crowd. What is y'all's take on the story of Bray Wyatt? Let me know. So, now we go from that to moving on to some AEW news. Some AEW Friday night news coming out of Rampage and Smackdown. So first things first, we're going to go over the news on Saraya. So, Saraya responded to criticism of AEW Dynamite promo. I mean, I will admit her promo wasn't all that good. It wasn't that good. I mean, she has to admit that herself. Now, Paige was forced to retire from in-ring competition in 2017, and that brought about a lot of changes in general. She remained relevant in other roles for years after that. She never wrestled again. She legitimately never wrestled again after that one. The first ever NXT Women's Champion left the company back in July after WWE decided not to renew her contract for some reason. I know. She then made her All Elite Wrestling debut during Dynamite Grand Slam last week. On this week's Dynamite, Saraya told fans that she plans to bring the revolution to AEW before she was interrupted by Britt Baker. The segment ended with Saraya announcing that the interim AEW Women's title match between Toni Storm and Serena Deeb would be a lumberjack match. The promo was criticized for a variety of reasons, including Saraya fumbling at the beginning. She took to Twitter and shared a GIF of a brawl, reacting to the criticism of her promo. She says here, and I quote, "Some of wrestling Twitter when anyone makes a hip cut." Saraya also promised to change the women's division in AEW, so we'll have to wait to see how Saraya will fare in AEW in the coming months. So what's your take on Saray's promo? Guys, I gotta tell you something. You're not gonna believe this, but I already knew this was coming. My mom just told me that my dog just died. That's why you see mom on camera crying. She just told me my dog just died. I knew it. I knew the day and the time would come when it happened. Yes, I'm very, very upset and sad. I am really upset and sad right now. Because like I was telling y'all, my father passed away back in March. And my uncle passed away a few months ago. And now my dog's gone. My dog that I loved dearly so much is gone. Can't believe it. My dog died at the age of 15. That's really, really old. In fact, she's the same age as the first dog we had when it died. When the vet had to come and get it and take it to the vet to put it to sleep. I hope my mom's okay. She's in there crying. I understand. But you know what? There was nothing we can do, man. You know. All that stuff she ate outside got to her. There was legitimately nothing we can do, man. And I hate that. It sucks. It really does. It really, really, really sucks, man. Anyways, I thought I just wanted to let y'all tell y'all that. And please send your thoughts and prayers to us during these difficult times. We have lost a lot of people. We've lost many people in our family. And it's been a bad time. It really has been. It's been some terrible, difficult times, man. We're losing too many people in our family, man. Even our own pets. That's the saddest part about it. Our own pets. So, I got some news on Bandino and Rush that I'm going to go over with you guys, and I'm going to get the heck out of here because I feel like I'm going to burst and cry in about 2 seconds. Oh, and there is some news on the AEW Dynamite viewership falling to an all-time low, which I knew was coming. I mean, Dynamite wasn't really that good. The best thing on Dynamite was that long-term booking storyline with Daniel Garcia, Daniel Bryan, and Chris Jericho. Now, Chris Jericho versus Bandino, that was the only best match on Dynamite. Juice Robinson versus Jon Moxley, and in between. I'm just going to say that. So there's some news on the Dynamite viewership. AEW brought another live episode of Dynamite this week. Now, how did the viewership turn out? Spoiler TV reports that the September the 8th edition of AEW Dynamite brought in an overnight viewership of 990,000 with a .34 and 1849 demographic. So, that's what the viewership was for that night. I'm not going to go over the rest because I just don't feel like it. As you all can see, I'm sad and upset that my dog's gone. And that's all I'm going to say from that. Pets deserve to be loved. They don't deserve to be treated or threatened. Pets deserve to be taken really good care of. So we got news on Rush. But first, we're going to go over news on Bandito because I feel like that is more important right now. Because of all this AEW talent that Tony Khan is signing now. He's looking to sign now. Even Juice Robinson, he is looking to sign him as well. This roster is already stacked. I mean, why would you make the roster even more big than what it is now? I mean, I don't get it. So Bandito impressed people throughout his career, and it's one of the reasons why AEW offered him an opportunity at the Ring of Honor World Championship on AEW Dynamite on September 28th, which happened to be this week. While Bandito lost the bout, he impressed people in positions of power in AEW. He was offered a contract the same night. According to Wrestling Observer newsletter, there's no confirmation if the pin hit the paper or not. While we don't have confirmation that Bandito has signed with AEW, we don't have confirmation that he was offered a full-time contract immediately after his performance in the loss to Chris Jericho on September the 28th in Philadelphia. End quote. That was what Wrestling Observer newsletter said. So, Bandito is impressive as a superstar, and those who watched his bout with Chris Jericho can confirm that he is one of the most talented superstars to join the wrestling business. If his business has grown beyond his current roles or not, it's something we cannot confirm. But we hope that he is doing what he does best, and that is wrestling between the ropes. You guys think Bandito should join AEW? Let me know. This last piece of AEW news I have is on Rush. It says here that Rush made a name for himself while working in MLW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, CMLL, and Ring of Honor. He is a former CMLL World Light Heavyweight Champion, CMLL World Tag Team Champion, CMLL World Trios Champion, and Mexican National Trios Champion, and more. Rush made his way to AEW at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view event, where he was introduced as Andrade El Idolo's business partner. The two have been active in the tag team division since then. The AEW president, Tony Khan, took to Twitter and officially announced that Rush has officially signed with the promotion. This is likely a full-time deal as well. It says here, and I quote, it's official. Rush is all elite. What a week for Rush. Yeah, sounds to me like it has been a great week for Rush in AEW. Rightfully so. I mean, he's great at what he does in the ring. His character gimmick is fantastic. His role is good. You know, I like the pairing of him and Andrade. You know, Andrade's not getting used much on TV when he should be getting used. I don't know why. It was his birthday. And he's all elite. Rush versus John Silver saw Rush picking up a victory over John Silver in what was one of the best matches on Rampage. Wow, that was a banger. You know how Sheamus says banger after banger after bangers? Yeah, that was a banger. Wow. Another banger match. That reminds me of Jungle Boy versus Ray Phoenix. That match right there. Seriously. Now, folks, that's going to do it for your WWE AEW Friday night news. I'm getting out of here. If you guys enjoyed the SmackDown Rampage review, hit that thumbs up. Please, let's get a lot of likes on the stream. Make sure you share this SmackDown Rampage review to all social media platforms. And that includes Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, any other social media platform you want to share. And please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road still to 500. We currently have 444 subscribers. Thank you to the 2 new subscribers that subscribed. I hope you enjoy what I have on the channel, and I hope it's not boring. I hope you enjoy it with a life of passion, and the news I give you, take it as a grain of salt. Most of this news I'm giving out is real, not fake. All right. Anyways, folks, I hope you guys have a great rest of y'all's weekend. I'm gonna go see if my mom's okay. Obviously, she's not. She's crying. You never want to experience. I never want to experience or see my own dog dead in the house. Just not a good feeling, not a good thing to see. Just not. Just not a good thing to see, man. I know when I go in there, I'm gonna see her laying right there. As soon as I end the stream, I'm tell my mom she needs to call the vet. They're probably not even open. Probably not even open. Can't believe it. Mom told me that our dog died, man. I'm still just reeling from that. Just like when she told me that, it just kind of hit me a little bit. It just surprised. It didn't really surprise me. I mean, I knew her time was up. You know, she's 15 years old. You know, I mean, when somebody dies, you're not gonna always cry. You know. Now, if it's somebody, if it's a pet that you really like, that's just close to you, yeah, you're gonna cry. If it's somebody that's your brother or your father, your mother, yeah, you're gonna cry. If it's a pet that you really don't know much, you're not really gonna necessarily cry. I'm not really gonna cry because I knew my dog's time was up. I knew she was 15 years old. 15 years old is the limit of a dog's age, in my honest opinion. I mean, no dog can be 16 years old, 17 years old, and still live. No way. There's no way. But rest in peace, Cinnamon. That's all I can say. My dog was good to me and my mom. She loved us so much. She really did. I'll never forget the day when we first got her. I was scared of her. I thought she was gonna fight me. She was gonna try to freaking kill me. Then that day when I got used to her, she started really liking me. She started laying on me and stuff. She always smelled good and stuff. She was a good dog to have. She really was. It's always good to have dogs around because when somebody bad comes, the dog starts barking. That dog lets you know somebody bad is out there. Somebody's doing something suspicious out there. Somebody's doing something weird and strange out there. Somebody's doing something they're not supposed to be doing out there. But now, well, looks like we are no longer getting any more dogs. That dog that just died, our dog that just died, that's the last dog that we are going to have. That's the last one. We're not getting any more dogs. We're really not. So, and just please send y'all's thoughts and prayers to me and my family. And I will see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. I will be live for your WWE AEW Saturday afternoon news. And I may be live with a WWE AEW Saturday night news live stream. I'm not sure. But I'll see you guys in the live chat for your WWE AEW Saturday Night News here on the IWN YouTube channel. Take it easy, stay safe, always, folks.